Today, we're counting down 20 old Hollywood actors who possessed the most impressive bodies of their era. These weren't just pretty faces. They were athletes, dancers, swimmers, and genuine tough guys who brought authentic physicality to their roles. And yes, our number two on this list had such an effect on his female co-stars that stories of their swooning became Hollywood legend. Number 20. Jeffrey Hunter. Starting our list is Jeffrey Hunter, whose piercing blue eyes and athletic build made him a natural for biblical epics and westerns throughout the 1950s and 60s. Standing at 6 feet tall with broad shoulders and a narrow waist, Hunter maintained his physique through horseback riding and swimming. His role as Jesus Christ in King of Kings required him to be in peak physical condition, spending months preparing for the physically demanding crucifixion scenes. What many don't know is that Hunter was a dedicated athlete long before Hollywood came calling. At Northwestern University, he was an active participant in intramural sports, developing the natural athleticism that would serve him well in action roles. His commitment to physical fitness was legendary on set. Co-stars reported he would often be found doing push-ups between takes, maintaining the lean, muscular build that made him perfect for roles requiring both strength and sensitivity. Directors loved working with Hunter because he could perform his own stunts, thanks to his excellent physical conditioning. His tragically early death at 42 cut short a career that might have seen him transition into more mature action roles, but his physical presence in films like The Searchers alongside John Wayne proved that true Hollywood masculinity came in many forms. Number 19. Rod Taylor, Australian import. Rod Taylor brought a rugged physicality to Hollywood that set him apart from his American contemporaries. Standing at 5'11" with a barrel chest and powerful arms, Taylor's body was built through actual physical labor. He worked as a commercial artist and in various manual jobs before finding his way to acting. Taylor's physique was showcased brilliantly in The Time Machine, where he performed many of his own stunts, including intense fight sequences with the Morlocks. His natural strength came from a youth spent surfing Australian beaches and playing rugby, activities that gave him the authentic toughness directors craved. Unlike many actors who had to fake their physicality, Taylor's was genuine. You could see it in the way he moved, the way he carried himself. What made Taylor special wasn't just his muscular build, but how comfortable he was in his own skin. He moved with the confidence of an athlete, whether he was throwing punches in The Birds or charming Doris Day in romantic comedies. His workout routine was simple but effective, swimming, hiking, and the occasional boxing session to keep his reflexes sharp. Taylor proved that sometimes the best Hollywood bodies came from living life rather than living in the gym. Number 18. Stuart Granger. British elegance met raw physicality in Stuart Granger, whose 6'3" frame made him one of the most imposing leading men of his generation. Granger's athletic build was showcased magnificently in swashbucklers like Scaramouche, where his fencing scenes required genuine strength and agility. Before Hollywood, Granger trained at the Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Art, where physical training was part of the curriculum. He learned fencing, stage combat, and dance, disciplines that sculpted his lean, powerful physique. His height advantage meant he had to work harder to maintain proportion and agility, something he achieved through a combination of swimming and calisthenics. Granger's most impressive physical feat came during the filming of King Solomon's Mines, where he performed in extreme African heat while maintaining his impressive physique. The film required extensive location shooting in difficult conditions, and Granger's stamina became legendary among the crew. His secret? A diet rich in protein and vegetables, combined with daily exercise routines he could perform anywhere, even in a tent in the African bush. Co-stars like Deborah Kerr praised not just his physical appearance, but his strength. Granger could lift his leading ladies with ease, making those romantic scenes all the more convincing. His dedication to maintaining his physique well into his 50s proved that old Hollywood's physical standards weren't just for the young. Number 17. Victor Mature. They called him the Hunk, and one look at Victor Mature's impressive physique explains why. Standing at 6'2" with a massive chest and arms that seemed carved from marble, Mature became the go-to actor for biblical and historical epics requiring raw physical power. Mature's body was built not in a gym, but through genuine physical activity. As a young man in Louisville, Kentucky, he worked in his father's refrigerator business, hauling heavy equipment that developed his natural strength. When he arrived in Hollywood, that authentic physicality set him apart from actors who merely looked strong. His role as Samson in Samson and Delilah remains one of the most impressive physical performances in old Hollywood. The scene where he pushes apart the temple pillars required genuine strength. The pillars were rigged to provide real resistance, and Mature's strain is authentic. He prepared for the role with months of weight training, adding even more mass to his already impressive frame. What made Mature special was his attitude toward his physique. He was refreshingly self-deprecating about his beefcake status, once joking that he was a muscle with a couple of lines. But that modesty belied his dedication. He maintained his impressive build throughout his career, swimming daily and following a high-protein diet that was revolutionary for its time. Number 16. George Nader. George Nader possessed one of the most perfectly proportioned physiques in 1950s Hollywood. At 6 feet tall with a classic V-shaped torso, Nader's body was the result of disciplined training and natural athleticism. His journey to physical perfection began at Occidental College, where he was a standout on the swim team. Nader's swimming background gave him those coveted broad shoulders and narrow waist that became his trademark. Unlike bulkier contemporaries, his physique was lean and functional. Every muscle had a purpose. This served him well in adventure films like Robot Monster and westerns where agility mattered as much as strength. Behind the scenes, Nader was known for his innovative approach to fitness. He was one of the first Hollywood actors to incorporate resistance bands into his training, a practice he learned from physical therapists treating injured swimmers. His daily routine included hundreds of repetitions with these bands, creating the defined musculature that photographed beautifully on film. His commitment to fitness extended beyond personal vanity. Nader often helped other actors prepare for physically demanding roles, sharing his knowledge of exercise and nutrition. His home gym became a gathering place for Hollywood's fitness-conscious elite, years before such things became commonplace. Though his career was cut short by changing Hollywood politics, his influence on Hollywood fitness culture lasted far longer than his time on screen. Number 15. Robert Ryan. Robert Ryan brought an athlete's body and a boxer's intensity to his roles, creating one of the most authentically powerful physical presences in film noir and westerns. Standing at 6'4" with the build of a heavyweight fighter, Ryan's physique wasn't just for show. It was functional, dangerous, and utterly convincing. Before Hollywood discovered him, Ryan was a champion boxer at Dartmouth College, winning the heavyweight title all 4 years he attended. This wasn't recreational boxing. Ryan trained seriously, developing the thick neck, powerful shoulders, and iron core that would define his on-screen presence. His hands, scarred from years of fighting, told their own story. What separated Ryan from other tough guys was his ability to convey both physical power and intellectual depth. His workout routine reflected this duality. Mornings spent sparring and hitting the heavy bag, afternoons dedicated to reading and script study. He maintained his boxing training throughout his career, often sparring with stuntmen and other actors to stay sharp. Directors loved Ryan because he could throw a real punch and take one too. In the setup, his portrayal of an aging boxer was so authentic that real fighters praised his technique. Ryan's physicality was never about vanity, it was about truth. He believed that to play tough, you had to be tough, and his body was simply the tool that allowed him to bring that authenticity to his roles. Number 14. Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power possessed what many considered the perfect Hollywood physique. Not too bulky, not too lean, but absolutely perfect for the camera. At 5'10" with a swimmer's build and natural grace, Power's body was as versatile as his acting ability, equally convincing in period romances and swashbuckling adventures. Power's physical development began in his youth when he studied dance and acrobatics as part of his theatrical training. This early foundation gave him extraordinary body control and flexibility that served him throughout his career. His preparation for the Mark of Zorro included intensive fencing training that added definition to his already impressive physique. What made Power's physicality special was its effortlessness. He moved with the fluid grace of a dancer, whether wielding a sword or sweeping a leading lady into his arms. His workout routine combined elements of dance, gymnastics, and traditional calisthenics, creating a body that was both beautiful and functional. He was known for doing one-arm push-ups between takes, a feat that impressed even the grizzled stunt crew. Power's commitment to physical fitness extended to his military service during World War II, where he served as a Marine pilot. The physical demands of military training only enhanced his already impressive physique. When he returned to Hollywood, he was leaner, harder, and more defined than ever. His premature death at 44 robbed Hollywood of one of its most perfectly proportioned leading men. Number 13. Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford brought a quarterback's build and an everyman's appeal to Hollywood, proving that the best bodies weren't always the biggest. At 5'11" with broad shoulders and a solid athletic frame, Ford's physique was built through practical activity rather than targeted exercise. Ford's physical development began on the Canadian prairie, where he grew up riding horses and working on ranches. This early experience with physical labor gave him authentic strength and endurance that couldn't be faked. When he arrived in Hollywood, his natural athleticism made him perfect for westerns and action films where believability mattered more than pure muscle mass. His approach to fitness was refreshingly practical. Ford believed in functional strength over aesthetic muscle, maintaining his physique through activities he enjoyed: horseback riding, swimming, and tennis. He was one of the first Hollywood actors to recognize the importance of cardiovascular fitness, often jogging long before it became fashionable. What set Ford apart was his physicality's versatility. He could play a tough cowboy one day and a romantic lead the next, his body adapting to whatever the role required. Directors appreciated that Ford did many of his own stunts, trusting his natural athleticism and excellent physical conditioning. His longevity in Hollywood, spanning from the 1930s to the 1990s, proved that maintaining functional fitness was more important than achieving temporary physical perfection. Number 12. Guy Madison. Guy Madison possessed what many considered the ideal American male physique of the 1940s and 50s. At 6'1" with sun-bronzed skin, platinum blonde hair, and a surfer's build before surfing was cool, Madison looked like he stepped off a California beach and onto the silver screen. Before Hollywood, Madison served in the Navy during World War II, where military training honed his naturally athletic build. The combination of swimming, calisthenics, and military drills created the lean, powerful physique that would make him a star. His breakthrough role in Since You Went Away required him to appear shirtless, and his impressive torso caused such a sensation that fan mail poured in demanding more of the handsome sailor. Madison's approach to fitness was ahead of its time. He was one of the first Hollywood actors to understand the importance of diet in maintaining a camera-ready physique. While other actors of his era relied solely on exercise, Madison followed a careful nutrition plan that emphasized lean proteins and vegetables. His daily routine included swimming, often in the Pacific Ocean, and bodyweight exercises that maintained his muscle tone without adding bulk. His television series Wild Bill Hickok showcased his physical abilities week after week. Madison performed many of his own stunts, from horseback chases to fight scenes, proving that his physique wasn't just decorative. His commitment to fitness allowed him to maintain his impressive build well into middle age, making him a role model for actors who wanted longevity in physically demanding roles. Number 11. Tony Curtis. Tony Curtis brought a street fighter's body and a dancer's grace to Hollywood, creating one of the most dynamic physical presences of the 1950s. Born Bernard Schwartz in the Bronx, Curtis's physique was forged in the rough neighborhoods of New York and refined in the gyms of Hollywood. Curtis's physical transformation was remarkable. As a young man, he was skinny and uncertain, but determination and hard work sculpted him into one of Hollywood's most impressive physical specimens. His preparation for Houdini required months of intensive training, including learning escape techniques that demanded extraordinary flexibility and strength. The result was a lean, muscular physique that photographed beautifully from every angle. What made Curtis special was his dedication to authenticity. For the Vikings, he trained with actual sword fighters, developing the upper body strength needed for convincing combat scenes. His famous scene emerging from the water in Some Like It Hot, even while dressed as a woman, showcased his athletic build. Curtis understood that physicality was part of his appeal and worked tirelessly to maintain it. His workout routine was innovative for its time, combining weight training with dance and acrobatics. Curtis believed in full-body fitness, not just building impressive muscles. This approach gave him the versatility to play everything from Roman slaves to jazz musicians convincingly. His commitment to fitness continued throughout his life, proving that the discipline learned in old Hollywood could last a lifetime. Number 10. Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum's powerful frame and laconic presence made him one of Hollywood's most physically imposing actors. At 6'1" with a barrel chest, massive shoulders, and hands like ham hocks, Mitchum looked like he could handle himself in any situation, because he could. Before Hollywood, Mitchum worked as a coal miner, a professional boxer, and on a chain gang, experiences that built his formidable physique and gave him an authenticity other actors couldn't match. His body wasn't sculpted in a gym, but forged through hard labor and harder living. This genuine toughness showed in every role he played. Mitchum's approach to fitness was as unconventional as the man himself. He didn't believe in formal exercise, claiming that carrying a glass from the bar to the table was workout enough. Yet he maintained his impressive build through physical work. He continued to do manual labor on his ranch, chopped wood, and occasionally sparred to keep his boxing skills sharp. What made Mitchum's physicality special was its understated power. He didn't need to flex or pose. His presence alone conveyed strength. Directors loved that Mitchum could take a punch as well as throw one. His fight scenes had a brutal authenticity because he'd been in real fights. His famous bare-chested scene in The Night of the Hunter revealed a physique that was both powerful and surprisingly well-defined, proving that sometimes the most impressive bodies come from living rather than training. Number 9. William Holden. William Holden possessed the kind of athletic physique that made him equally convincing as a romantic lead or an action hero. At 5'11" with a swimmer's build and natural athleticism, Holden maintained one of the most consistently impressive physiques throughout his long career. Holden's physical fitness began at South Pasadena High School, where he was a gymnast and swimmer. These early disciplines gave him the body control and lean musculature that would serve him throughout his career. His preparation for The Bridge on the River Kwai included months of physical training to convincingly portray a POW, losing weight to achieve an authentically gaunt appearance before rebuilding his physique for the film's demanding action sequences. What set Holden apart was his professionalism regarding physical preparation. For The Wild Bunch, at age 51, he underwent intensive training to perform his own stunts, including horseback riding and combat scenes. His dedication impressed younger co-stars who struggled to keep up with the veteran actor's stamina and strength. Holden's fitness routine evolved with age, but never diminished in intensity. He swam daily, practiced yoga before it was fashionable, and maintained a careful diet that kept him lean and strong. His shirtless scenes in films spanning 3 decades showed remarkably consistent conditioning, proving that discipline and dedication could maintain an impressive physique regardless of age. Number 8. Rock Hudson. Hudson's 6'5" frame and Adonis-like physique made him one of Hollywood's most physically impressive leading men. His massive chest, broad shoulders, and narrow waist created the perfect V-shape that designers loved to dress and directors loved to film. Hudson's physique was carefully cultivated under the studio system. Universal Pictures assigned him a personal trainer who designed a comprehensive program combining weight training, swimming, and calisthenics. Hudson attacked this regimen with determination, transforming from a somewhat soft truck driver into one of Hollywood's most magnificent physical specimens. His preparation for magnificent obsession included months of intensive training to achieve the perfect physique for his shirtless scenes. Hudson understood that his body was part of his appeal and treated maintaining it as part of his job. He was known for arriving on set having already completed a full workout, ensuring he looked his best for every scene. What made Hudson special was how he carried his impressive frame. Despite his size, he moved with surprising grace, the result of dance training suggested by his drama coaches. This combination of size and elegance made him unique among Hollywood's leading men. His commitment to fitness continued throughout his career, with co-stars noting that he seemed to get better looking and more physically impressive with age. Number 7. Sean Connery. Before he became the world's most famous secret agent, Sean Connery was a bodybuilder who placed third in the 1950 Mr. Universe competition. His powerful physique and natural athleticism would help define a new kind of action hero, one who was both sophisticated and physically dominant. Connery's body was built through a combination of traditional Scottish labor. He worked as a milkman, a coffin polisher, and a lifeguard, and dedicated bodybuilding. At 6'2" with a massive chest and arms, Connery brought genuine physical power to his roles. His famous beach scenes in the early Bond films showcased a physique that was both impressive and functional. What set Connery apart was his ability to maintain his physicality while developing as an actor. He didn't let his impressive build typecast him as just a muscle man. His workout routine evolved from heavy bodybuilding to a more balanced approach incorporating martial arts, swimming, and golf. This variety kept him limber and strong well into his later years. Connery's influence on Hollywood fitness cannot be overstated. He proved that leading men could be both intelligent and physically impressive, setting a new standard for action heroes. His commitment to staying in shape for physically demanding roles, even into his 60s, inspired a generation of actors to take fitness seriously. Number 6. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn's athletic physique and natural grace made him the ultimate swashbuckler of Hollywood's golden age. At 6'2" with a lean, muscular build, Flynn's body was perfectly suited for the acrobatic demands of his adventure films. Flynn's physicality was developed through genuine adventure. Before Hollywood, he was a plantation overseer in New Guinea, a gold prospector, and a sailor, experiences that built his strength and endurance. His natural athleticism was enhanced by intensive training in fencing, boxing, and horseback riding, skills that made his action scenes thrillingly authentic. For the adventures of Robin Hood, Flynn trained for months to perform the demanding sword fights and acrobatic sequences. His famous duel with Basil Rathbone remains one of cinema's greatest action sequences, showcasing Flynn's impressive conditioning and skill. He insisted on performing many of his own stunts, believing that audiences could tell when a double was used. Despite his reputation for hard living, Flynn maintained his impressive physique through most of his career. He swam daily, often in dangerous conditions that would have challenged professional athletes. His approach to fitness was like his approach to life: full throttle, no holds barred. This intensity showed in his physicality on screen, creating an energy and vitality that made him unforgettable. Number 5. Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas possessed one of the most impressively muscular physiques in Hollywood history. His famous dimpled chin might have gotten attention, but his incredibly developed body, particularly in Spartacus, set a new standard for physical preparation in epic films. Douglas's physique was built through genuine athletic achievement. A wrestler in college, he developed the thick neck, powerful shoulders, and iron core that would define his physical presence. His preparation for Champion included intensive boxing training that added even more muscle to his already impressive frame. The result was a physique that was both aesthetically pleasing and authentically powerful. What made Douglas special was his commitment to physical authenticity. For Spartacus, at age 43, he trained like an actual gladiator, working with weapons experts and undergoing a brutal physical regimen that would have challenged men half his age. His physique in that film, lean, muscular, and incredibly defined, remains one of the most impressive in cinema history. Douglas's approach to fitness was methodical and disciplined. He worked out daily, combining weight training with swimming and calisthenics. He was one of the first Hollywood stars to understand the importance of nutrition in maintaining a camera-ready physique. His dedication to fitness continued well into his 90s, proving that the habits formed in old Hollywood could last a lifetime. Number 4. Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston's monumental physique made him the natural choice for larger-than-life historical figures. At 6'3" with a massive chest and powerful arms, Heston looked like he could have actually built the pyramids or parted the Red Sea. Heston's physical development began at Northwestern University, where he was an active athlete. His natural size and strength were enhanced through disciplined training for his epic roles. His preparation for Ben-Hur included months of intensive physical training, including learning to drive a chariot, which required extraordinary upper body strength and endurance. The chariot race in Ben-Hur showcased Heston at his physical peak. He performed the dangerous sequence himself, controlling 4 horses while maintaining his balance in the speeding chariot. This required not just strength, but incredible core stability and endurance. His physique in that film, bronzed, muscular, and perfectly proportioned, became iconic. What made Heston special was his ability to maintain his impressive physique throughout his long career. He believed that physical preparation was essential for the kind of roles he played. His daily routine included swimming, hiking, and weight training. Even in his 70s, Heston maintained the powerful presence that made him one of Hollywood's most physically impressive leading men. Number 3. Burt Lancaster. Burt Lancaster brought a circus acrobat's body to Hollywood, creating one of the most genuinely athletic physiques in film history. His background as a professional acrobat gave him a unique combination of strength, flexibility, and grace that no amount of gym training could replicate. Before Hollywood, Lancaster performed with the K Brothers Circus, developing extraordinary physical abilities. His specialty was the horizontal bar, which built his massive upper body and gave him the distinctive way of moving that would define his screen presence. When he transitioned to film, he brought that physicality with him, performing stunts that left stunt coordinators speechless. Lancaster's most impressive physical performance came in trapeze, where at 43, he performed actual circus routines that would challenge professional acrobats half his age. His physique in that film, lean, muscular, and incredibly defined, proved that functional fitness trumped mere muscle mass. He trained for months to regain his acrobatic skills, achieving a level of conditioning that amazed his younger co-stars. What set Lancaster apart was his belief that physicality was integral to acting. He maintained his impressive physique through constant activity, swimming, gymnastics, and calisthenics. His famous beach scene in From Here to Eternity showcased a body that was both powerful and graceful. Lancaster proved that the best Hollywood bodies weren't just built in gyms, but through a lifetime of physical expression. Number 2. Paul Newman. Here he is, the man whose physical presence made actresses literally weak in the knees. Paul Newman possessed what many considered the perfect male physique. Not overly muscular, but perfectly proportioned, naturally athletic, and impossibly handsome. His ice blue eyes might have gotten the initial attention, but his impressive body kept audiences captivated. Newman's physique was the result of natural athleticism enhanced by disciplined training. At 5'9", he wasn't the tallest leading man, but his perfectly proportioned build made him appear larger on screen. His preparation for Cool Hand Luke included months of physical training to achieve the lean, hard body of a chain gang prisoner. The famous scene of him washing the car, shirtless and glistening with sweat, caused such a sensation that theaters reported female audience members actually fainting. What made Newman special was the sexual magnetism his physicality generated. Co-stars from Elizabeth Taylor to Julie Andrews spoke of being physically affected by his presence. His boxing scenes in Somebody Up There Likes Me were so intense and authentic that his co-star peer Angeli reportedly had to take breaks between takes to compose herself. Newman trained with professional boxers for the role, developing the genuine fighter's physique that made his performance so convincing. His approach to fitness was holistic. He was an accomplished race car driver, which required extraordinary physical conditioning, and he maintained a rigorous exercise routine well into his 70s. Newman believed that physical fitness was essential for mental sharpness, and his dedication showed in every role. His physique in The Hustler, HUD, and Butch Cassidy in The Sundance Kid remained consistently impressive, proving that discipline and natural athleticism could create lasting physical excellence. Number 1. Steve McQueen. At the top of our list stands Steve McQueen, the man who redefined Hollywood masculinity with a physique that was both accessible and aspirational. McQueen didn't have the biggest muscles or the most defined abs, but he possessed something more powerful, an authentic physicality that came from living rather than posing. McQueen's body was built through real action. A motorcycle racer, car enthusiast, and martial artist, his physique was functional rather than decorative. At 5'9" with a lean, wiry build, McQueen proved that true physical presence came from how you moved, not just how you looked. His preparation for roles included learning the actual skills required, racing for Le Mans, motorcycle riding for The Great Escape, and martial arts for his action scenes. What made McQueen the ultimate Hollywood body was his authenticity. Every muscle had been earned through genuine activity. He didn't work out to look good. He looked good because he was constantly active. His daily routine included motorcycle rides through the California hills, martial arts training with Bruce Lee, and intensive racing practice. This created a physique that was lean, hard, and incredibly functional. The famous motorcycle chase in The Great Escape showcased McQueen at his physical peak. He performed many of the stunts himself, displaying a combination of strength, agility, and fearlessness that defined cool for a generation. His shirtless scenes in Papillon revealed a body that was scarred, weathered, and absolutely authentic, the body of a man who lived his roles rather than just playing them. McQueen's influence on Hollywood fitness extends far beyond his era. He proved that the most impressive physiques weren't always the biggest or most muscular, but those that reflected a life fully lived. His combination of lean muscle, functional strength, and effortless cool created a new template for Hollywood masculinity that still influences actors today. These 20 men didn't just have impressive bodies, they revolutionized what it meant to be a leading man in Hollywood. From the acrobatic grace of Burt Lancaster to the raw magnetism of Paul Newman, from the authentic toughness of Steve McQueen to the sculpted perfection of Kirk Douglas, each brought something unique to the screen.